Am I muted? Shit. Hi guys. Hi Shani SB. I was talking about scent dogs. That's what we're gonna go over today. There's a girl on Twitter. She says I'm like scent dogs because she's from Virginia, so it's funny how she says it. Anyway, getting back on point, we're gonna talk about some of the misconceptions of scent dogs and the different types and all that stuff, because a lot of people think that scent is like, you know how you see those odor commercials and it's like a wave of like smoky air? Well, it's kind of like that, but that's made up of particles. And so when people think of scent and different types of scent, I really truly think, and I can attest that I have, I did not understand scent dogs as I do now. So we're going to go into that. Then we're going to go into what we know about the scent dogs for Lena Keel, Summer Wells, Michael Vaughan. I think it's very important to know these things so that you're not thrown off, and you could always come back to this video anytime you like and kind of go, okay, well, what did we learn? And I'm going to also put the guy that I have been speaking to. He's a certified search and rescue dog expert. He is also retired law enforcement. And what I really like about this guy is that he bucked the system with the law enforcement, the FBI, involved in the cases that he was doing at the time, and stirred up some mischief, if you will, because he knew that things weren't being done correctly, that egos and politics were getting in the way of finding these missing children and these missing persons. And I always love seeing law enforcement of any type hold themselves accountable and the people around them accountable. But many, many times they get ostracized, demonized, and all that stuff. We all know that. Look at whistleblowers, for instance. So that's kind of how they treat him. But I don't care about that. I've seen what the whole hoorah is about this guy. I love him. I think he's very smart. Been doing this a long time. And I'm going to show you some of the things that he's done. If you would please go out of the live chat and hit the like button. Subscribe if you think that this is for you. And then jump back in and let's get to it. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, mods. Glad you're here. Shani, I'm so glad you remember. Thank you for joining, by the way. I really appreciate it. So let me get this guy's website pulled up here. I accidentally hit the X button because I'm weird like that. So I have noticed that he has, so he ran International Canine Search and Rescue. But he also has something, I think it's under something else too. Give me just a second. So, caninesradog.com. Please feel free to take your time. This guy's name, he has 50 years an SAR experience, search and rescue experience. From what I understand, hi Shani, love you too, honey. From what I understand, this guy is a retired law enforcement officer, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he was a Vail, Oregon, or Longview, Washington, maybe in Oregon. He was a retired deputy sheriff at the time. He's retired now. And I think that's something, and for him to be in law enforcement so long and also to know and buck the system, including the FBI, including those biggies, the local law enforcement, I think that's very admirable. Hi, Gemini. So it says here, since 1972, I've responded on behalf of the Office of Emergency Management Operations Center, as well as city, state, county, and federal law enforcement, EMS, and fire agencies. Also respond on major disasters. You can look this guy's name up. It's Harry Oakes Jr., HARRYOAKES. And he has given me so much information specifically on scent dogs. Here he is here with his doggies. So he also did stuff like searching for, I believe it was Nepal when they had that tsunami. He helped find people that were under the rubble. So not only does he search for, people who may be deceased or lost, but who are in critical situations such as a natural disaster. He's also helped many, many people rescue their own animals, like their own dogs and their cats that, wander off, especially in the woods. So he has also found murder victims, including children, suicide victims. So, I trust him. So here it says, I have successfully tracked a missing person scent trail 18 months after he disappeared. I found where he died. Hi, Sweet Sativa. SB, how many dogs went to Idaho? Was it a cadaver dog, a scent dog, and a drug dog? As Nicole says it, those scent dogs. So there was a specialty dog that came in. I know that they flew. Maybe they were they had multiple training. He was apparently brand new. The dog was. I don't know the specifics on that, but we do know only from Brandy's words on a recording. She stated that a drug dog did come in to the home in Idaho where they lived because there was weed smell coming from the shop in the backyard. She has admitted openly that they do that, and that's cool, whatever. But per her words, they had gone back there and searched with the drug dog. Okay. Danielle, hi. Danielle, excuse me. I'll send him to Fruitland. Right. Danielle, are you a psychic? Because that's what we're trying to do. So a few things that I have in the works is that, June 15th for Summer Wells, me and some of my mods are going to Hawkins County for the vigil for summer. I've got some shirts in the works. And I don't mind showing those to you, actually. They're pretty amazing. So we're getting all of that together. We got an Airbnb ready. But we do want to raise funds for, specifically Hawkins County for resources. Hawkins County, Tennessee in general, has a trafficking problem. It needs more awareness, it needs more accountability, and it needs more laws to protect these babies. So that's what I want to do. And I also want to get donations together for specifically Michael Vaughan and the search for Michael Vaughan coming soon. I will let you know more details. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but my toddler is a terrorist, and I cave in every time when he demands my attention. SB, okay, I didn't know a drug dog went through their house. Do we know if a scent dog went through too? I do know that a scent dog did go to search for him. And from what we know from law enforcement is what? Nothing. I always want to re-Google everything and make sure that I have the most up-to-date information before I say anything. So let's just Google Michael Vaughan scent dog. SAR. It says search dog Michael Vaughan scent. That's a YouTube video. It's really bad if a YouTube video is, the number one, research on Google for it. Now, this was back in August. Let's go ahead and just knock this out of the park with Michael Vaughan's case. So this was in August 21st, 2021, almost a month after his disappearance. Excuse me. Technically, we know nothing. AMF. Amen. Amen to that. So it says, since the night Michael Joseph Vaughan went missing, several search methods have been utilized to find the little boy, including the use of canines, as we know. The Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Unit had been searching for 5-year-old Michael Vaughan, and then last week they were deployed along with a canine, excuse me, to search an area on the Oregon side of the Snake River. That I just noticed. I'm sorry, I just had a coughing fit. So let's watch this video. See what we get.
You don't have to be a teacher to bank with CapEd Credit Union.
CapEd, it's more than banking, it's making a difference.
Tonight, CBS 2's Michaela Ellich spoke with Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue about how their specialized unit is now helping in the search.
Since the night Michael went missing, multiple search methods have been used to help find the little boy, including the use of specialized search canines.
These dogs may look like your typical pup, but they're actually highly skilled dogs who help in searches for missing people or lost children. Since the start of the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team, canines have been an important asset to the unit when looking for humans. Brian Marinelli with the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team has been with the canine program for just about 3 years now, and he hopes to get his furry friend Stella Blue certified as a search dog soon.
The handlers train them, they live with them, they stay with them through retirement. They're members of the family and they're members of our unit as family members as well. So it can't be overstated how important the relationship is between the canine and their handler.
According to the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team, canines have the ability to smell up to 10,000 times better than humans, crucial for helping find missing people in places it may be hard for human searchers to reach.
They have those special gifts of being able to detect scent in particular directions well beyond what a human searcher would be able to detect. And that becomes really important when we're trying to focus our search efforts in a very specific and narrow area. When time may be a sensitive issue.
The Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team has been involved in many searches for the state of Idaho, including the search for 5-year-old Michael Joseph Vaughan. Just last week, they were deployed along with a canine to search an area on the Oregon side of the Snake River and remain on call for additional assistance in the search for the little boy.
For more updates on
Okay, well, I'm glad that I watched this because I did not know that they had searched on the Oregon side of the Snake River. I'm trying to, right now as we speak, get, obviously donations for Mr. Harry Oakes to get involved in this search. But I'm also trying to get a breakdown of where they searched, where they've cleared, so that we don't necessarily go over places of interest that they've already searched first. We'll do that last. Because what we need to do is search new areas that have not been searched, unless they know something we don't know. Maybe that's why they're not doing any more searches. But in my opinion, I have no idea why they wouldn't continue to do so. I think you have to be on a computer for what? Right. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, so They can smell up to 10,000 times better than humans, I'm sure everyone knows that. And what else? See if it has anything else on here. They have those special gifts to be able to detect scents in a particular direction as well as beyond what a human searcher would be able to detect. And that becomes really important when we're trying to focus on the search efforts. So, to answer your question, we do know canines, scent dogs, have been used, and per Brandy, and on the recording, drug dogs, because of the marijuana smell coming from the shed that they hang out in. Let's see if we can get anything else. So let's look at December 5th, 2021. Specifically for Michael. We'll jump over into Summer Wells' case. All right. I'm just going to read this instead of watch. Disappearance. Here we go. So she is saying, oh, nope, sorry, disappearance. The day Michael disappeared, Neil said he didn't want her to go to work, which we know about. Michael had been in the family's living room playing on his Nintendo. At 6:40, Tyler went to check on the baby and order pizza for 15 to 20 minutes. When he came back, Michael was gone. And we all know all about that stuff going on. Whoa. She sped back and forth down the neighborhood streets when she got there, asking if people had seen Michael while Tyler spoke to law enforcement. That's not what we were told, or told multiple times, but I'm not going to go there. Canine dogs searched the area, according to Neil, according to Brandy, where they were able to track Michael's scent, and it led to the end of the street, away from the farm field to the right of the house, and stopped abruptly. Where they were able to track Michael's scent, it led to the end of their street, away from the farm field, to the right of the house. And it stopped abruptly, which is Arizona and 9th. All right. Hi, Lou. So glad you're here. Has he given a suggested price he'll need to get him down there? So, $200, and I think either $200 or $250 an hour for a search. He said most of the time, if you have a really accurate area, it's usually found, the person or the animal or whatever you're looking for is usually found within 3 hours at most. But because of this case, I'm sure that's not going to be the case. And then the travel expenses to get him there. Fortunately, he's from Washington, so it's not too far of a travel. But you have to understand that he's traveling with dogs, vehicles that have specific items that he needs. So, Fruitland PD will interfere. Yeah, you know what? Me and Cy Armstrong have been playing cat and mouse on the phone for a very long time. I've called him today. And today was the first time I kind of got some sass. Not from Cy. I haven't talked to him yet, but I got some sass from whoever answered the phone. And that's okay. They don't know me. But I felt like I had that camaraderie for a second, but I guess not. So, waiting on a call. I will let you know what I hear. So, in the press conference held on November 19th, J.D. Huff, who is Fruitland Chief of Police, said there was an increased probability Michael was abducted, in large part because the agency has made no headway in ground searches. Fruitland Police and FBI and other investigating agencies have combed through thousands of acres and found nothing. They have searched with helicopters, drones, boats, divers, dogs, and on foot, according to Huff, and are following every lead. So I don't know. Go tell his wife, TFA. Preach. Hi, sweetheart. So how can this proactively be addressed? Who can override interference? Mayor? Good question. Danielle, you are on it. You are my psychic sidekick now, because you have literally asked questions that I have already had prepared before I went live. So you're good. The mayor could, in fact, do that. The mayor is actually who I believe they go to for certain search area issues or whatever it may be. I think that's the mayor's job, is to step in when there is a problem with areas, who owns it or whatever. Maybe it's city owned area, but it's contracted out, et cetera, et cetera. So, so what this is telling me, y'all, is that there's no sent information from law enforcement. What they do say in the latest update, and I'll go to it just to make sure I got the most recent factual information. Go to fruitland.org, find Michael Vaughan, button right here, and oh, it says to go to the Facebook page. That's right. Well, now you know. Now you know I ain't bluffing. Okay? Boop, doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. There's some old new faces. Sigh, call me. I'm so lonely. I need a call. March, where's March? Here we go. We have gone over this, I know, numerous times, but I got to do it again. Received 850 leads. Our investigators continue to work to determine just what happened leading up to the disappearance. Y'all are still needing that information. It's an exhaustive, labor-intensive task. The search for Michael has taken on several phases, and after multiple ground searches in and around the area and across the state of Idaho, there is a high probability of an abduction. Although we have been working the potential criminal abduction aspect since the time Michael went missing, it became our primary focus several months ago. Due to the fact that this is a criminal investigation, we are limited in the information that can be shared. Here's what they say about the canine. Drones, boats, divers, professional canine units. These areas have been walked step by careful step. The white Honda Pilot, as mentioned in the earlier update, has not been confirmed as identified, but we strongly know who it. We feel strongly that we know who it belongs to. We will continue to seek information on that vehicle. We are happy to hear that SB 1378, the Endangered and Missing Persons Alert, passed both houses. Now we know that it did pass, and that's a great thing for Monkey. That's a great thing for all children. That's it. There is nothing else about scent. Nothing. Whole state of Idaho, my ass. TFA, you said it. I'm gonna let you have that one. And yet they're not naming persons of interest related to the pilot. Yeah, I brought this up with Summer's case too. It's like, okay, you don't know who the red truck belongs to. You want them to come forward, but you don't want people to send in tips that you think it's weird, It's like, we know who it is, or we think we know. With Michael Vaughan's case, we just want him or her to come forward, but they're not suspects. But it hasn't been cleared. Do you want our help? Do you need the community's help or not? Do you need help knowing where Summer Wells was that day or not? Probably not. And I don't think that Fruitland does either. I don't. But, to keep the public from going insane, I would highly suggest some kind of update, even if there's none. We're continuing to work on this. Please be patient. Here are some tips and tricks to look for abductions or be prepared for an abduction. Look everywhere at all times. Have your kids chained to your hip. Anything. Nothing. There is nothing that the public can know or do to protect themselves or know anything outside of conjecture. That's on them. That's on law enforcement. If you need a media manager, call the sheriff's office. They tend to help with that. You get paid tax dollars for this, so I don't know what the problem is, and I do get upset sometimes. Getting back on track. So we don't know our ass from our elbow when it comes to what dogs, what kind of dogs. We just know that dogs, scent dogs, search and rescue dogs, were there. We know that. And per Brandy's words, a drug dog did go into the house and go to the back of that, shed where they do their recreational activities. So, is it illegal in Idaho? Yes. Yes, it is. All right. So this guy, Harry Oakes, I really appreciate him. We've gone over things that he has done. I've looked at his newspaper clippings. I looked at everything. And there were some issues with him regarding FBI giving him credit where credit is due. He has never received a dime from reward funds, So he has this kind of the same stance as maybe someone who isn't in law enforcement who was looking at some of these cases going, wow. He has also, quote, stated that it would make a grown man puke to know how many lives have been lost due to law enforcement egos and politics. Blew my mind because he is, in fact, retired LE. But I like him for that. I appreciate that honesty. Hey, Sleuthy. I was making fun of you earlier saying scent dogs. What kind of dogs? Cadaver dogs? I like how you say it. So again, this guy went in search for people missing in Nepal. Here's some clips of some photo gallery, of things he's done. So here's one of his dogs. Aren't they just cute? They're just so handsome. I think this was in one of the earthquake in Turkey in 1999. Body recovery. SAR dog Cody locating a buried victims. Sorry, I went too fast. In the mudslide, 1990 earthquake. So, he that's his whole job is to find people. Here was a body recovery homicide victim. Here he is in the paper, body of missing 4-year-old autistic child found in the slough. Again, he's in Washington. So the Joplin, Missouri tornado that devastated the entire town. I think that I can trust this man. All right. He has gotten, recommendations and thank you letters from all over the place. So I just wanted you to know that because this is where I'm getting my information from. All right. So here's some of his thank you letters from doing a good job. Here's a White House, and because he has been put down a lot. Anyway, let me pull up some of the documents that I have. So he made this little book and he gave it to me in Word format, so I apologize. But y'all are going to like this. I really do think so. Yes, Lou is banned from Twitter. We need to do a public outcry for that one. Sleuthy, I'm a liar. I'm sorry. I forgot. I have a hard time taking my ADHD medicine, girl. You could put the little bell on there. You could hit that bell on my page. That might help because I'm probably never going to remind anybody properly. All right, so there's sections. Introduction to scent evidence. What is scent evidence? All the things that go under doggies and what they can do. Types of scent. Vehicle tracking. It's good. It's some good stuff. All right. So there is Deputy Oakes in Washington County, so I was right. 1983. You need to use a different email or phone number? Oh, yeah, that's right. For Twitter. All right. So he came from a very structured and loving family, Boy Scouts. Here's kind of the information on his background. He was an officer, EPD in Oregon. Deputy Harry Oakes, Morrill County Search and Rescue Coordinator. All right. And he says, if I sound angry, I am. Because he was explaining about, the egos and the politics of the FBI and local law enforcement not giving him credit due, all that crap. So, one of the many things I've learned by working in law enforcement is to document everything very well. We've proven we're successful by documenting each search mission, the dates, case numbers, times, locations, names, addresses, telephone numbers, names of witnesses, victims, everything. So this guy is actually a certified witness expert too, meaning that he has testified in court for what he found and his research and his expertise, which is great. So in my opinion, when you want someone to be searched, you want someone that knows how to do all of those things if it is in fact a criminal investigation. So he's upset that he didn't get the credit due, right? It says, as you read, you'll learn how I've used scent evidence to find missing humans and animals who have either found themselves lost or have been fallen victim to foul play. So he's using scent evidence. Here it goes. You'll also learn how politics and you will also learn how politics and egos on behalf of law enforcement community have cost many innocent lives. Listen to that. That's a big claim. This book is written for educating persons who may be involved in the use of scent as evidence and to assist family members and all that for searching. So here's his background. If you don't believe me after all that spewing, I don't know what to tell you. Here's his sheriff's department little thingy here. Blah, 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 blah. Not that it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying we got to move it along. It's already, 32 minutes. Jesus. I did want to mention this. Using scent evidence to disclose a crime scene. There was a case called the Julian Burroughs case. Google that one. Here's the case number. In Polk County. She responded with handlers to search a rural wooded area for a missing person's remains. The detectives have already searched this. Listen here. They have already searched it. The ground search teams were made up of search and rescue, law enforcement, ESAR, explorers, and horse. EquiSearch, basically, but not EquiSearch. A male subject had been missing for 45 days, and it was suspected that he had been killed in this area during a drug deal ripoff. The weather had been miserable. The area was highly contaminated by previous search teams. We obtained a scent article of the missing person from his father's home, and we put 3 SAR dog teams to work. We located the victim's buried remains on our first search in the search area. This guy did it just like that. Why? Because he trained his dogs properly. And he has the law enforcement side of things, knowing criminal, background, and the dogs. He's done this for a very long time. It says we alerted. So this dog alerted near the fireplace on a loose floorboard at an old abandoned house on a property. In making a closer inspection of the area, upon pulling it up, I located a newspaper dated the day the victim disappeared. The newspaper contained the suspect's fingerprints all over it. I also found an empty beer can stashed in the hiding place, which also had the suspect's fingerprints on it. And without the dog ranger alerting to that hiding spot, he doubts they would have ever found any of that. That blows my freaking mind. Can you email me this book thing, so I can read it on the iPad? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Crazy, huh? Listen to this. They also found a syringe used by the suspect for drug use, obtained a death alert on the ground near the shed behind the abandoned house. We also identified some corrugated tin roofing where each of the dogs indicated death alerts on the material. We later found out it was used to transport the victim after he was shot and killed. Once the suspect was arrested and interviewed regarding the murder charges, the suspect pleaded guilty as the evidence located by the search dogs was overwhelming. During that interview, the suspect admitted to smoking cigarettes, shooting up on crank, drinking beer, reading that newspaper while waiting for the victim to arrive. When the victim arrived, the suspect stated he hid everything and then went outside and shot him twice in the head and then realized the victim was too large to move. So the suspect pulled off a piece of corrugated tin roofing from a nearby shed and rolled the victim onto that material and dragged him to a trash fire pit, where the suspect proceeded to bury the victim and cover the victim up with some trash. The suspect then replaced the roofing material on the shed and left. That's a lot of work. Yeah, we do need a spaces. We do, sorry. So, that dog, without that scent pickup, and again, he's stating that the other search and rescue teams have already gone over this with their experts, right? So what does that tell you? Just because it's been searched a few times does not mean that it's done. Hi, the lab. Everybody give Josh from the lab a high five, hearts, or an alien an alien icon, please, for the hilarious live the other day. Welcome in. We are talking about SAR dogs, scent dogs, cadaver dogs, all that good stuff. And I want to mention that there are a lot of contaminants that can interrupt search and rescue dogs, specifically scent dogs, right? And travel. Nicotine. Nicotine is horrifically awful for anyone, right? But the toxins within it that can cause cancer can jack up a dog's nose so bad to render them useless. So if, let's just say, the parents have, I don't know, nicotine pouring off of them and they grab whatever they give the search and rescue team for the scent for whoever's missing, it could completely contaminate that, because now the dog is like, oh, whoever smokes, it can mess up their nose for a while. So just want to let you, and gasoline, vapors, dope. So I just asked because I didn't know if it was you or not. Nicole, I'll send you the video of the Bubby talking about the neighbor's dog. Aw. Yeah. So I trust this guy. So there's some like a few cases that this guy has helped solve by finding the body, but also there have been times where the evidence, he didn't find a body, but the dogs traveled to the scent last picked up, and then later on they found them within that area. So it's very interesting how important search and rescue dogs are, first of all, trained, how seasoned they are, and what's their rate, meaning success rate, to either find or hit on scent that leads to solving a case. All right. So each animal and human contains specific DNA. We know that, I hope. They also contain their own scent that can be identified by a highly trained and tested search dog and dog handler teams. Just like a fingerprint, there are no two scents that are exactly alike. There are, however, very similar ones, like those that come from a set of twins. Very interesting. A person or animal loses approximately 10,000 pieces of scent called rafts per minute. Could you imagine, what is that? If Michael or Summer were sweating, it was hot that day, whatever. Could you imagine how much scent that would be? Just everywhere? So it makes you wonder, could the scent be skewed somehow, depending on, was she scared? Was she excited? Was she potentially unalive? There's a lot of factors to that. Hi, Killer Looks. Jeep Girl. Welcome, welcome. Sure. Yeah, I think people need to know these things because it's so important whenever they're going over cases. Like, you don't want to get the information wrong. All right. So we lose 10,000 pieces of scent per minute. In a closed environment, the scent can be detected up to 3.5 years later. Isn't that crazy? In an open environment, scent can be detected and tracked from 60 days old up to over a year or longer, depending on the terrain, weather, and many other factors. Heat, by the way, hi Jeep. Heat kills scent particles faster than rain. Rain actually helps scent particles because it stirs them up, it hydrates them, and it gets them in the atmosphere, in the air for, dogs to smell. Heat, unfortunately, can, degrade those. How can scent be used as evidence successfully? Since each person and animal has its own individual scent, the scent can be tracked, traced, and identified in buildings, clothing, vehicles, wilderness, city, desert, jungles, etc. And even water. That's pretty crazy. Here's an example that we won't go over because I am running way later than I wanted to. This is what I wanted you guys to see about the smoke. Contamination from people walking over the same area day after day is a problem for scent, tracking scent. Obviously smoking, like I said. Petroleum products can mask scent because it's so thick. Plastic can trap scent. Rain can wash it downhill, downstream, and eventually drown it out. So it takes a lot of rain over a period of time to destroy scent. I thought that was interesting because, when you're thinking of scent, you're like, oh, the water just literally took it away forever. It's over here now, 2 miles away or 10 miles away, never to be scented again, right? Never to be smelled by a dog. But that's not true because scent particles stick to things. So it says heat can dry out scent and SAR dogs' sinus passages and make it very hard for the dogs to track. That's what was so important to me regarding Michael Vaughan's case. Because allegedly it was burning, that the heat from the pavement was burning the dog's paws. It was 100+ degrees outside, which was kind of unusual for it to be that way for over like 3 or 4 days. So you got to think about those things. Nicole says, all I want to know is it protocol for a handler to halt their dog while it was on a scent without either bringing in a new dog to continue or resume after dog number 1 rests? Good question. See if we can find it. Grammy, I wonder if the scent would give off if they were drugged or not. Maybe. Let's see. All right. So saltwater, you can still sniff out bodies in the ocean. I think he was on the Natalie Holloway case, which he begrudgingly reminded me that the one that EquiSearch hooked up, and I was like, sir, that might have happened. We're not perfect. Okay, that was not me. It was a very difficult case. We have not found Natalie Holloway. But I was like, don't say that. So there are different types of scent. This is important. There is stress scent. We get upset, excited, comes out of our pores, and there's those hormones, right? It's almost like a gas to the dog. Like if you were to smell, gasoline or whatever. That's how strong they can smell these stress scents. There are 3 types of those. Normal or live scent, fear or stress, and then death. Those are the cadaver dogs that specifically look for death scent. Because death smells god awful. And I would be really, really mad if I were upset if I were a death scent dog. I don't know. Because dogs actually get upset when they smell a dead body. They actually, their ears droop, they get sad, they whine. It actually hurts them because they know that this person is no longer alive. And dogs want to be happy, and they want people to be okay. Isn't that crazy? So basically, stress can come in many different forms, as you know, and it sticks harder when you have all of those things going on in those cells, those particles. So death scent, obviously, decomposition immediately starts to decomp as soon as you die, right? It's instant. So if you were deceased for 5 minutes, you're going to have decomp smell. It just gets worse over time, depending on the factors. Then it goes into how awesome he has done. Wonderful job. What else? Okay. Scent ID. Now let's get into a little more advanced in our search problems. The victim is walking along and decides to take a path that is a shortcut between an apartment complex and a shopping mall. It's littered with old newspapers, kind of junky, right? All of a sudden, the victim is attacked while he's walking and he's injured. The bad guy forces the victim into his car and drives off. The victim is knocked unconscious and her hands are tied with duct tape so she can't move. He takes her to a secluded spot, does things to her. She just is deceased now. Then picks up her body and throws it into a nearby river, hoping that the water will wash away the evidence. I want the people who were on the Michael Vaughan's case to listen to this. Not to compare this, but to listen. It's saying, apartment complex, alleyway, shopping mall. Lots of things go down. Knock her out there, tie her up in the car, and then gets rid of her elsewhere in the river. The suspect then drives off, goes home, takes off the clothes, put the clothes in the hamper, tries to wash all the evidence away, puts his clothes in the washing machine. Here's how your dog, a dog, can detect and recreate the entire crime, guys, the entire thing. If the suspect window, let's say, is open even a little bit, the air currents will enter the vehicle and pick up the victim's scent, which will drop outside the vehicle in a specific pattern. This is what I was talking about the other day. And let me tell you, Dave Rader said the same thing about Summer Wells' case. You don't just stop. You linger, no matter what. When you slam that door, say you grab someone or a child and you slam that door, their particles are literally flying out of the door from the air pressure. So there is no such thing, honest to God, as a scent stops. That is only if there are other factors like being wrapped in something, being enclosed in something, or there is something with your scent on it from a very recent time that is being carried through and not necessarily you. I think that is so important when you hear these things about they're just gone. The scent stopped here. You know what I think that means? Two things. Either the dog wasn't good enough and made a mistake, or the handler, or the information about it just stopping is a lie. It's a lie. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's what they want, or maybe that's what they think the parents will believe or the public will believe if it's an abduction. Wouldn't you? If your child went missing and the scent stopped at the end of the road, wouldn't you think that it was an abduction? But when we in fact know that it's so hard to just stop scent, it lingers. Dogs can pick it up at another location. Dogs can do tracking where you can have lapses in that scent. So this is exactly what I wanted to get out to everyone. It's not what you think. Scent is not what you think. Vehicle tracking. Here we go. Your handler gets into, I won't go into the details. Let's just see what the answers are. Listen to this. A bloodhound team in Idaho found a dead kidnapped child using the method of vehicle tracking. The dog handler tracked the victim's scent, escaping from the suspect vehicle for 12 miles from the point of last seen. 12 miles. I'm sorry. That is just... How could, no matter what, 100 degrees outside, there was only a small window of time, allegedly, that Michael was abducted, allegedly. The scent would be there. Summer's case. The scent would be everywhere, all over. So I don't understand what they mean by it just stopped. And this is why I think that these cases are insanely mirroring. That's just my opinion. For entertainment purposes only, look at the scrolling thing at the bottom for more information. So, what destroys scent? Petroleum, heat, vehicle fumes, gasoline, cleaning products. Heavy handling of scent articles will also make the scent mix with newer scent. Cigarette smoke can destroy the dog's ability to smell or to scent up by approximately 95%. That's huge. So don't smoke. Don't smoke around the dogs. Don't grab something from the parent if they're reeking of cigarette smoke. How does scent evidence transfer from the victim to the suspect's clothing? Imagine you have a white powdered chalk on your hands. We all know that feeling. Now touch the top of a desk, a door handle, etc. You will see a small amount of chalk transfer from your hands to the items you touch. That is how scent transfer works. Amazing. Do bones give off scent? Yes, bone marrow. And that's why the cadaver dogs are so important. And you have to think about everybody has their own scent, right? But when it comes to bone marrow has very similar, I would assume, scent to other bone marrow, which is why cadaver dogs are so important to be specifically trained in cadaver dogs. That's what they say. And that's what this guy says. So they can scent decomposition sites, disaster sites. Bodily fluids have their own smell. They leak onto the ground. You know how you can have, a body decomp. They can smell that if a body has been moved after decomp. Isn't it crazy? Mr. Eve, hi. He's working hard for us. He works hard for the money. So hard for the money. Thank you, Mr. Eve. Collecting a scene article properly. There's just so much information in here. I will see if it's okay to send this out, because he sent it to me specifically. So Nicole and everybody that wants to read up on more on this, let me ask him first. But if he says it's fine, I would be more than happy to put a link on the community page. Testifying in court. There's just so many things. And one of the greatest things about this area, this article, non-smoking via smoking dog handlers. I will testify right now that I have seen dog handlers smoking. No shit. Smoking. And he has too. That's why he's putting this in here, the nicotine. Like he's very, very upset about the cigarette smoking. You can track more than one suspect at a time with these dogs. The list goes on. You know, and it really depends on like how new the dog is too. So if a dog is not, there's good and bad, right? If you have a seasoned dog, they're going to be able to probably last a lot longer and track more than a young dog, because they're going to have to be guided a little bit if they don't have as much experience. It really just depends on the handler more than anything, and of course the dog. It says the dog, no matter what the breed, is only as good as the handler working with it. So if you're going to say, well, this dog doesn't seem to be, because he's a blue heeler, and this one's a golden retriever, you know, the blue heeler's way better because it's a blue heeler. Doesn't matter. It's how it's trained. All right. That's really all I wanted to go over is the important stuff. All right. And again, I will make sure that I get permission to share this entire thing, and I'll put it on my community post. I am so glad you're here with me. I appreciate you. I want the community, especially the true crime community on YouTube, to be more aware of what they're actually trying to say, because sometimes they don't know. Again, they're ass from their elbow, and I like to squash those things. All right, guys. You know, as I say, drink some water, hug yourself, hug your babies, hug your grandbabies, hug your fur babies. And I will see you on the next live, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap